It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline. Trending video. Nnamdi Kanu asked to kill you. Suspended members of the indigenous people of Biafra in a trending video physically assaulted two traditional rulers abducted in Imo State. Recall that gunmen had last Sunday abducted Eze Acho Ndukwe Amagu Ihube and Eze Paul Ogbu of Iyete Ihube, both in Okigwe local government area of the state. In the trending video, the two monarchs were seen being beaten by suspected IPOB members who rained insults on them. The gunmen told the traditional rulers that the IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, had asked them to kill the monarchs. "You are occultic persons. You deserve to die. You have committed enough abomination that warrants the spilling of your blood. Nnamdi Kanu asked us to kill you. You people and wipe away your generation. Hence, you don't want Biafra to be actualized in your time," one of the gunmen was heard saying in the video. It was reported that the gunmen later asked the traditional rulers of Iyete Ihube Autonomous Community, Paul Ogbu, where the criminals abducted the slain monarch, and the traditional ruler of Amagu Ihube, Ako Ndukwe, and set their palaces and vehicles ablaze. However, Ndukwe regained his freedom on Monday after combined security operatives rescued him during a raid on kidnappers then in Osu local government area and Uli in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Speaking with reporters, a resident of the community said a youth leader, Fabian Nwosu, who was also kidnapped alongside the two monarchs, was also killed by the gunmen. The resident also added that the tragic news was revealed by Ndukwe, who said that Ogbu was killed right in his presence. He claimed that Ndukwe disclosed that the unknown gunmen had killed Ogbu and dumped his corpse in a ditch, where the source stated that the corpse of the slain monarch was taken to the village and buried, not quite long after the discovery. Twitter to wish President Muhammadu Buhari a safe trip to Turkey. The outspoken former senator representing Kanu Central wished the president a safe trip to and fro. According to Sarah reporters, President Muhammadu Buhari will be traveling to Turkey, and after which he will pay a visit to Ebonyi State, southeast Nigeria. However, the outspoken senator said he wishes Baba Buhari, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a safe trip to Turkey and a safe return from Turkey. He also told President Muhammadu Buhari not to borrow from Turkey until we pay what we are owing China and Saudi Arabia. Sarah reporters also gathered that Buhari left the country yesterday, Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, to Turkey. And in his words, he says that "I wish Baba a safe trip to Turkey and a safe return. Please do not borrow any money from them. Make we pay China and Saudi first," exactly in his words. And this was because of the enormous borrowing of Nigeria under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Public servant Professor Bolaji Owosanya, who provided the damning evidence of the modus operandi of the official racket in government. Already, in the 2022 budget, over 225 projects have been identified as duplications at the cost of 20 billion naira, prompting the House of Rep to set up a probe committee. There is nothing more than appeal to the persuaded Nigerians of his electability anti-corruption personality during his first sojourn as military head of state in 1984 to 1986. Then, General Muhammadu Buhari was seen as the nemesis of corrupt politicians, and that image, which could not help him during previous electoral attempts, was capitalized on by the Southwest media to burnish and garnish a political reputation against an admittedly helplessly gutless and hapless leadership of Goodluck Jonathan. But history is a mercilessly ruthless judge. While previously clueless and corrupt, Jonathan has become a beautiful bride of international diplomacy and democratic behavior. The anti-corruption warrior is now mired in a government that, by its own reckoning, has become the most inept and corrupt in our history. To be fair, the president did not promise much in the electioneering campaigns in both elections. Throughout the campaigns, his mantra, repeated like a broken record, was fighting corruption, insurgency, and improving the economy. His performance on all three counts is suspect, dubious, and undistinguished. Most people would even declare him a failure. By its own admission, even the government does not point to any of them as its main achievement, which is curious. To it, their greatest achievement is building infrastructure, which was a kind of an afterthought as it never featured in its 2015 election campaigns. The curiosity is, how could one major in a subject on which he was not tested in an examination? On his greatest failure, agreement will be as difficult to reach. Insecurity has become a major menace in the country, and no part of his nation is spared. But because that is not his greatest failure, nor is the crumbling economy, which he was never given a chance in the first place. It has never been this bad since the war, and although President Muhammadu Buhari was elected to deal with the problem of insurgency in the northeast, his regime was added the nefarious activities of herdsmen and armed bandits, who have not only made life brutally short and unbearable for most rural communities, especially farmers who have abandoned their farms, which has led to the threat of food scarcity and hunger in the country. The Nigerians are paying such humongous price on account of corruption in the public service in a government that promised to stamp it out is a monumental indictment of President Muhammadu Buhari and his legitimacy for the office. The paradox is that for every extra kobo that goes into fictitious projects and salaries, there is a corresponding denial of public-oriented spending to improve people's lives. Also, such increase in recurrent spending is directly responsible for the unending borrowing by this government to fund its acclaimed infrastructure development in a situation that mortgages the future of the country and the next generation. Consequently, the reason we are borrowing is not entirely because there is no money, as government has consistently maintained, but because its employees are siphoning the money into their private pockets at the expense of the generality of Nigerians. The obvious implication of this development is that the current anti-corruption strategy is defective and inappropriate, thinking that the main culprits in corruption are the political office holders. This view featured heavily in Buhari's approach in dealing with members of the Second Republic political class. But it is simply untenable because the political class does not have accounting powers, which belongs to the career civil servants. So it is financially impossible for the politicians to steal money from government coffers without the active involvement and collusion of the bureaucrats themselves. Also, for a minister or commissioner to steal a dime, the bureaucrat must be involved. Entire budgets of the country through the manners of expenditure. They also prepare the budget.